Hey guys, welcome to my first ever video on my channel here. Today I'm going to be doing that stair tutorial you all have been requesting on my Instagram page. This is kind of a voice reveal for all of my Instagram followers, so hi, this is my voice. Hopefully it's not horrendous. Anyways, on the screen we have the speed build going, and a couple seconds earlier you may have seen the little note that said you have to place the floor first and do your decorations before placing any of the roofing for the stairs. That is because the roof isn't really a floor, so you can't place anything on the roof itself. So if you want to place anything on your front porch area, you're going to have to do that prior before doing the roof. As you can see now, I am coloring the roof, so if I'm on PC, I can just copy the roof and save money coloring. For each of the steps, I place it on a floor below, so I can drag the roof, as you can see happening now, to the height I want. What I'm doing is using medium grid, going down one each time, and then switching to the small grid, and then going 2 extra little spacings below. It's just the process of spreading out your stairs that fits well for your house. I used 8 squares from the front step. The only thing with these steps is it's kind of space consuming, so you have to set up your house pretty far back, or you can have your garage sticking out or a garden. I personally chose to add planter boxes to the side of my stairs and slightly into them because it was based on a build I saw online of a real life house, and I feel like the planter boxes also did a great way of framing and distracting from how wide and bulky the stairs can look. So here I go, finishing up the stairs. Now I'm going to be building up the front of the house to get a better idea of what it is going to look like. Then I'm going to start building up my planter boxes. And with my planter boxes, I tried to make sure that they were asymmetrical, because symmetrical builds just don't do as well in my opinion, because when you drive around a neighborhood in real life, how often do you see a symmetrical house? Not very often. It also helps with keeping the build from looking stale, and by that I mean when you have a very symmetrical house, it's very easy to make it look undynamic, if that's even a word. But I feel like you get more character, more feeling. Yes, you can have feeling in a house. It's really silly, but you can. And just by having a little more difference between each side of the house can make a big difference. So back from my little tangent, here I am finishing up the planter boxes using 4 different wall heights. The full wall height, the half wall height, the quarter wall height, and the little thin one, little fence. I chose to use a corresponding brick color to the stairs to color my planter boxes because I feel like it complemented really well. And then eventually I'm going to be coloring in the dirt. For the dirt, it's really important when you pick a dirt color that it matches the tone of your house. If you're making a pastel house, I would not recommend using dark taupe as it's very dull and it kind of drowns all the life out of a house unless you're using those darker, richer colors. So for that, I'd recommend maybe pine cone or dirt brown, or brown for a richer feel. So here's the dirt. To do the dirt on the half wall height, I wound up using tables because it's really weird if the dirt's really low down because people can fall in there. But I feel like with the tables, it gives a little more like leveling when it comes to the dirt. When choosing your tables for dirt, I recommend choosing the table I chose just because there isn't a pole down the middle and it's really easy to get under when you're placing those plants. So when I place my plants, I use the small grid and rotate them each just a little bit to give more of a dynamic feel and just some more character and detail work. It's all about the detail. It can really make or break a build and drastically change how it looks. So I chose cacti for the plants in the half wall boxes just because they are a little taller and they work out pretty well with being easy to place opposed to something like grass, because grass is very fiddly because of all the leaves they have. So I did go a floor below and then zoom out a little bit with the roof on to place them. As you can see, it's a little difficult to get the hang of, but it's actually not that hard, and I feel like it makes a big difference knowing that you can go through floors to place things. That's how I do a lot of my builds with detail work and stuff. So when I place my plants, I do like to do a variety, but normally I do the same 3 to 4 greens. There's a row of 3 greens. There's slime green in there somewhere. And then higher up there's sage green that I feel like they always do well for plants just because it's not overwhelmingly bright and it gives a natural, more toned down look. So here I am placing the roof on the house, and I'm going to be using metal just because I feel like it pairs really well with the ruggedness of this build. Of course, metal doesn't fit every build, but for this one I feel like it did really well. So now I'm going to be putting a pillar on the build just to add some support to the roof here. And then I realized that the pillar would not go on the floor I wanted to, so I had to go down a couple floors and build up. But the reason I added this pillar was to add support, because when you drive around a neighborhood, once again, you never see just a random part jutting out of a house without any support, because it just looks a little funny. So another tip from me, add supports to your build. So this about wraps up the build here. I hope this resolves some of the questions you may have had, because on Instagram there were several questions about how to do this build, and it's just not something you can quite explain over text. So I'm just adding in the lighting, finishing touches to the builds, and here we are on some final finished product photos. To wrap this up, I'd just like to say, if you do use this idea or concept for stairs, please send me a picture or tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it in all trueness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it or let me know if this was helpful. And there are my social media handles. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye!